the phone, and husband is home with Lucas, he's sick. So I think it's better that just her lawyer's here, because I don't want Lucas to hear this. Okay?
I won't object to anything at all.
Okay. Okay, so it was my mistake actually. So just to be clear, I sent an email confirming 2 o'clock.
I don't check emails.
I don't.
So
I sent one, and then I sent the Zoom link for 10 o'clock. So clearly I was rushing. I'm going to be off the next few days, and so I was rushing. And anyway, my apologies. It was my mistake.
that's the first one. 3 to go.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you. Unusual start, not the best way to start one of these. And so husband is okay with just you being there?
Yes, will there be a report filed afterwards?
Yes, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine, just
Yeah,
in
for
case
sure.
I don't remember everything.
No, there's definitely a report. It'll take a couple weeks, 2 or 3 weeks probably. Yeah, and my supervisor at the OCL's got to review it, and she's got probably 30 or 40 of us. But anyway, welcome. Thank you for your patience, everyone. So I'm going to start with how the OCL got involved. On November the 5th, 2021, the Honorable Justice Jones requested the Office of the Children's Lawyer investigate and report on issues related to the best interests of the children under Section 112 of the Courts of Justice Act. On April the 4th, 2022, the case was assigned to me. So the process of the investigation, there were interviews with the mother and the father. Father was in person and the mother on video. So a bit of a hybrid model, this case. Interviews with Lewis and Lucas. I know sometimes I'll say Junior just because it's easier to distinguish between the father and Lewis. They were in person at both parents' house. They never came to my office, which is usually part of the investigation, because both parents said they wouldn't come. So I ended up seeing them twice at each house, plus I saw them at the school in October, individually. So this is standard process. The report is standard. So you give concerns of each parent, and then I'm not sure if you're not familiar, but that's how the OCL does it. It's a very standard process. So concerns of the mother. She's concerned that the father says bad things to the children about her and is trying to pull the children away from her. She's concerned that when the children get mad, they want to go to their father's house instead of working it out with her. She's concerned that the father was letting the children dictate the schedule instead of following the court order. That was in the past more. She's concerned about the father's negative influence on the children as they see him get angry at other people. She's concerned that the father, I don't know if this is still the case because some of this is old, has not paid for the hockey fees. Is that still the case?
No comment.
Okay, no comment. So anyway, that was as of a while ago. But anyway, she's concerned that the children see their father being emotionally abusive to her and is concerned that he shares court information with them. The mother believes the father's behavior is impacting on the boys and models for them about getting angry at other people is acceptable. She is concerned that the father smokes marijuana in front of the children. Okay, the concerns of the father. He's concerned that the mother is
If you don't mind me interrupting, does she have anything good to say?
No, but this is what the section is. It's only concerns. I'm only putting your concerns. Yeah. So the concerns of the father, he's concerned that the mother's been lying in court and making him look bad. He's concerned that he's being portrayed as a bad parent when he never missed a day with the children. He is concerned that the children often come to his place and she drops them off during the week, her week with the children. He's concerned that she does not parent the children but gives them choices instead of being firm with them, and she should be acting more like super nanny. He's concerned that when she calls him when she's upset, like when the children stole from her nephew, or when she wants to do the laundry, and she can be hard to reason with when she's upset. He's concerned that she agreed to Taekwondo, but then is not supporting it financially as well by not encouraging both boys to do 5 days per week as they had agreed on. He is concerned that the children are being raised on the streets, with Lewis being able to hang out with his friends after school, and some of them are having a negative influence on him, the father believes.
That's a fact.
Okay, well, it's a fact. He's concerned that the mother does not spend more time with the children. He is concerned that the mother blames him for many things that occur when she has the children, and she could have prevented it. For example, she did not check the children's backpacks, and if she had, she would have seen boxes of candy in there and removed them instead of letting them sell candy at school. He is very concerned about the letter obtained from George Stavro from the Etobicoke Hockey League, and was upset that he would not speak to this writer, George. Father is concerned that the mother is using her psychology degree to manipulate people and present herself as the victim. So those are the concerns of both parents, and the interviews and observations with the children. The report will have more detail. This is just how we do disclosure meetings, just a brief summary of everything. There'll be more details about the interviews with each parent in the report. So I met the children, as I said earlier, 3 times each. Both parents advised me to meet them at their homes, as they could not guarantee bringing them to my office. When I first met the children, they both stated they wanted more time with their father, but at the most recent interview in October, they said they liked the current schedule of 1 week with each parent. Both boys are heavily into sports, playing hockey, soccer, basketball, and in September, Taekwondo. Both boys stated they did not like school. Lewis admitted that he struggled with social studies and math, and Lucas said he does okay in everything. He did admit that he would do better if he did his homework. Lewis shared that he would like to move to the United States when he is older and live in a warm climate like Texas or California. He would like his family, including both parents and his brother, to go with him. Lucas shared with me that he gets behavioral letters and then has to write about what he did wrong. Last year he had had 5, but at the end of the academic year in June, he did not have as many. As of last June, both boys were trying out for track and field, and Lucas said he was trying out for broad jump, shot put, and would be in the relay run. Lewis said he was running 100 meters and is the anchor of the relay run and was considering a 1,500 meter run. Both children shared that in hockey they were centers, like position the hockey as a center, and both had received MVP awards on their teams. I found the 2 boys to be polite and initially more talkative. When I first met them, they were more talkative. By the later interviews, they were less so, but I found them very friendly in October when I saw them at school. They did have trouble initially articulating why they wanted more time at their father's house, and when I asked them, what the reasons were, they just said because. I found them in October to be friendly and also relieved that they were not in trouble when they got called down to the office during the school interview. They thought they were sent to the principal's office and it was me, so they were pretty happy I wasn't the principal. The children were forthright, saying they liked the current schedule of 1 week with each parent and liked having the flexibility of going to the other parent's house when they wanted. They said they were very busy with Taekwondo and hockey. The children said they did the same thing at both houses and enjoyed playing video games at both houses. So the professional collaterals, people I interviewed, so the principal at St. Raphael.
I have a question. You spoke to both children at both houses, yet you, according to my children, not according to you, you asked them a very specific question where they would rather live. How come that's not on your report?
I didn't ask them where they wanted to live.
They told
I
me
asked
you
them.
did.
Well, I did not ask them. I
Are
said
you sure you did
about
not
the
ask
current.
them?
Yes, I'm positive.
Okay.
I'd never asked children that question. I don't think it's right to ask children that question directly. So I would never ever do that. And I've done over 40 interviews. So I have never put a child on the spot of asking them where they want to live. I ask them what they like doing at both houses, and I like them what they like about the schedule and what they don't like about the schedule. So I don't want to put that kind of pressure on a child. I don't think it's fair to them. This is an issue between their parents, not about the children. I'm very sensitive to the rights of children. So the principal stated that Lewis had a rocky start to school. He had lots of anger issues and issues with his behavior, and he would speak to other students with threatening words, but he was generally respectful to adults. She described Lucas as generally being more willing to listen, but he does not seek help when he needs it. She noted that Lewis has refused help and said he would deal with things himself. She said the mother struggles with the boys, and she's had to suspend Lewis once, and he has been in her office a couple of times for hitting and threatening another student. Lewis says he wants to be with his father and ran away from school and was found in the park. He left the school grounds to go to his father's house. The father would not agree to counseling initially, so mother had to get a court order, and eventually the father did agree. Lewis is bright when he applies himself and wants to do the work, but he seems to have a lot on his mind. Lucas is okay with school and has friends. Lewis also has friends and gets into trouble, but since getting suspended in February, his behavior improved. Okay, so that's the principal at the school. And I had a phone call with Catholic Children's Aid, the family support worker, Mitch Adelson. And he just said the case was closed some time ago. It was opened in August 2013 and closed in November 2014. He said that the mother had recently called him to ask if she could work with them again, if he could work with them again, and he explained it would have to go through intake, and she said that this writer would be calling. She told him that I would be calling and gave permission for him to speak to me. Mr. Adelson said it was a long time ago and he did not have permission from the father to speak to me, so the call was completed. I mean, I did get there was consent, but he just felt like it was just too long ago. It was a long time ago. That was almost 10 years ago.
Children's Aid, according to me, Children's Aid is not reliable. They came into my house to steal documents. That video is also online.
Yeah.
So if they want anything to do with me, I'll publicize this in 2 days.
Yeah, they didn't.
All I need is 2 days to get a gazillion views.
Mitch Adelson was very clear. He wasn't speaking, and it's 9 years ago. The pediatrician, they said they had not seen the children in 4 years, and it was difficult to find the records, but it had been some time since the children had been seen by the pediatrician, so they didn't have anything to add. So I did a phone interview with Wayne Boucher,
Wayne Voucher.
the Etobicoke Hockey League on September 1st. And he said there's two sides to every story. That's what he started with. Father was unable to come into the arena for hockey last year because he was unvaccinated, and he was only able to come at the end of the season. Lucas did not like that he was traded and started shooting pucks at his goalie's head and was angry and swearing and not behaving well. They spoke with Lewis and were willing to work with him regarding his temper because of the things he was going through. Lewis' father confronted him about the trade and told Lewis to go to the car. Wayne explained to the father that Lewis' behavior was unacceptable as trades happen in hockey. Lewis is a talented hockey player and his playing could improve going up to a higher level as a challenge. Lewis and his brother played on the same team and were a powerhouse together. Lewis did not go up to the next level, but he settled down and stopped being rude to the coaches and apologized to the team in order to play on the team. Everyone involved in the hockey league are volunteers. Wayne found the father receptive to what he said to him about Lewis's behavior. So I had a phone call with George Stavro, the president of the Etobicoke Hockey League. I spoke briefly to him as he wanted an email to ask him what I would like to ask him about so that he could check with his governing body. It was about the letter from him dated November 2nd that the mother submitted as an exhibit. The letter stated there had been several run-ins with Lewis with foul language, the father, to the referees, coaches, and players. It also indicated that the father one weekend had created a scene with foul language and challenging league executives and coaches regarding policies and behaviors. So he said he had to check with his governing body about whether he could speak to me or not. He emailed to say that due to confidentiality clauses, he was denied permission to discuss this matter about the letter he had written with me.
If you don't mind me asking, did Miss Laney let these people know that she was using his letter as an exhibit? Because what you're saying and what she mentioned in court, but they're not together at the moment. They're not adding up.
I don't know.
Ms. Leonie, if I could ask you, did you inform both exhibits that you were going to be using their letters against me?
I'm here to listen to Dr. Walker Kennedy today. We'll be back in court soon and we can discuss any issues that you have.
Okay, so the social worker at the Toronto Catholic District School Board, I talked to her in early September. She's not working this year at St. Raphael. She received the referral for social work last year from the principal. They do not provide therapy, but give referrals for resources in the community. But I do think they meet with children to see sort of what the needs are, and she did meet with them both. They cannot meet with children unless both parents give consent, and father did not agree with the referral. She felt father was upset and angry about the referral when she called him and said the kids were doing fine. Father eventually agreed for the children to be seen by her. Lewis was seen twice and then he refused to see her. She sent information with resources to help the family outside of the school system, including Working Women and Center for Diverse Women and Families. Mother was asking her for support regarding the issues with her ex-husband, and she referred her to outside agencies. She saw Lucas only once and thought he was doing well at school. And she had numerous calls with the mother for support. So that's it for professionals. And, you know, Sister Galata, I interviewed her and she just said, husband is a hardworking mother. She's known her for 10 years. She keeps in touch with them. She used to work there and they encouraged her to work at the school board because of the benefits and the money. The children came to the daycare when they were 18 months old. I did a phone interview with mother's twin sister, and she stated the mother is, she sees her sister as a loving and amazing mother. She will do everything for her kids. The aunt loves her nephews and will do anything for them. She hopes that she sees when the children are with their father, they do not change their clothes or brush their teeth. She sees them at hockey in their uniforms at school. Personal hygiene is important to maintain. She said her sister is doing her very best. She works hard and drives the children everywhere. She does not want to have a scene with the father, but he can be very disrespectful to her and her sister. The children see their father getting mad and he throws his words. He never cares who is listening, and his issues with her sister should be said privately. But he says things many times in front of the children, and her sister walks away. She is aware that the father will get angry with her for what she has said, but she is being honest in her opinion. So I also went through the Toronto police records. There were 99 pages. So it started domestic incident in December 17th, 2014. This you can read in the report, but I'll just highlight some of the areas. So it started, there was an incident in 2014, there was, and they just call them DIs. So they had one in 2017, father not returning the children.
That was the day that
that's
my children fell
2017.
asleep.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
says
that was
it
the
says they
day-
fell asleep.
The day,
Yeah, it says they fell asleep. 2019. So this one was about the note placed on colleagues' cars. Reading YouTube.com, I Married a Compulsive Liar by Louis Andretti.
all those videos have been placed on YouTube. You have access to them, and so does
Yes,
your lawyer.
yeah,
Full
but this,
disclosure
I'm reading
has
out
been-
what the police report says. That's all I'm reading right now. He's angry at the custody arrangement and is uncomfortable when he comes to their son's hockey games. That's what the notes say. Father denied placing notes. He asked if he did anything wrong by putting the video up. The police constable cautioned that it could be construed as harassment, any further contact with the mother. She requested it get pulled down from YouTube. Okay, so that's what they had in their notes for 2019. 2021, verbal argument with Lewis, who was 11, if he did not like the mother's rules to stay with his father, so he left the house. She let him stay there for the weekend. Father said mother's changing the court order. So the next ones are December 21. So December the 2nd, December the 3rd, and then it goes into 2022. So there were 7 other domestic incidents. Police enforceable custody order. Father called the police. He did not want to get in trouble for having his son Lewis. He wanted to drop off Lewis, but Lewis refused. So I think what it read to me like is that you were calling the police whenever
I was
Lewis,
documenting every single
Documenting.
incident after the judge made a ruling based on false evidence, yes.
documenting Lewis being there. Okay, so there were 7 of those, and then in 2022, and I only got the notes until, there's a couple pages of these summarized, but I got the notes until June 22. So in that time, there were 8 others, domestic incidents. Same situation, with the father documenting that the children were at his house during the Mother's Week. So, the one in February, Lewis showed up at the father's house. He called the police to be part of the record. The child was fine. The mother was fine with this, and there were arguments at the time. So I go through. So there's February 11th, March 2nd, March 14th, March 11th, March 25th, and then there's a break. June. Yeah, these are just police notes, and I'm just looking at them. And then there was, oh yeah, this one's out of order. So March 29th, and the one I'll read is June 7th, the call from St. Raphael School on April 14th of the missing child, but the date on the notes was June. So Lewis was missing. He had gotten into trouble and left immediately after school without his younger brother. Lewis had had a physical altercation with another student, and both parents notified the police, were notified, and he was avoiding his parents. Lewis was active on social media, and his phone was pinged, and he was found to be in Downsview Park. Lewis' best friend and his mother arrived on the scene as they had been in contact with Lewis. Lewis said he would come home tomorrow, would not give his current location, but would stay with his father. The PC located him walking on a trail, and when he saw the police officer, Lewis ran. The PC caught up with him, and he became verbally aggressive, calling the PC names. He called his father, and the father became verbally aggressive towards the police when asked for proof of ID.
All he had to say is that he had to watch the video, request the video. All he had to ask me is tell me that his duty was that he needed ID before
Okay, but
releasing
I'm
my
just reading
child.
the police report. I'm just reading what they wrote, okay?
I also have that on video. Maybe I should put that up too.
Okay, so my findings and concerns. So I believe, this is my opinion, this is what I think, and I am focused on what I think are the best interests of the children. So both parents, I believe, love their children. It is clear they have very different parenting styles, which interferes with their ability to consult with each other and co-parent. Father sent me numerous YouTube video links, which I looked at, which shared numerous texts between each other and phone calls he had recorded of the mother. The pattern of communication often started with mother asking the father for assistance with Lucas or Lewis, or relaying information about school activities. Father often tells her that he does not have these problems at his house with the 2 boys, and then blames her for not supervising them enough. Mother becomes angry and accuses him of smoking pot and harassing her, and he accuses her of not being the parent and being too lenient with the boys. The focus goes off the children and onto each other, which does not resolve the issue that was raised about the children. These parents also have had many discussions by text about the children's clothing, particularly about their school uniforms. After the accusations stop between each other, each one of the parents will ask about an upcoming event such as the game time for the hockey. This pattern was repeated over and over again in text messages that I read. Given the descriptions of both parents about the other parent, I was surprised there were the occasional time where they agreed about some things between them before they started disagreeing. For example, they both agreed to Taekwondo after the boys stole from their cousin, but could not agree on the number of sessions per week due to the cost. Both parents need to find different ways to communicate that focuses on the children, not on the conflict between them. Both parents told me that they felt abused and harassed by the other parent. I would like to elaborate about the parents' different parenting styles. I would broadly describe the mother as having an authoritative parenting style. It is considered democratic and tends to focus on consulting with the children and giving them choices. Father's parenting style I would describe as authoritarian. He appears to be stricter and tends not to consult with the children and wants to be in control. It must be very confusing at times for the children coping with these very different parenting styles. It is challenging for each parent to hear the other parent's perspective, and they need to be able to consider what the other parent is saying without getting angry. I believe father is angrier than he realizes. He sees mother as downplaying his role as the children's father by being awarded sole decision making and by taking away the joint decision making they previously had. For him, this was a humiliating change and ignored the role he plays, the important role he plays when she's asking him for help, when she is experiencing difficulty with the children. He strongly believes that things have worsened for the children since they've been going to court. It is wondered whether some of father's anger stems from his wish to protect his children, but it comes across differently to others as being aggressive. To be clear, major decisions are seldom made for education and health, and as the children get older, their voices will be considered as part of the decision-making process. Given the current inability of the parents to communicate and focus on the needs of their children, it is not possible, in my mind, for joint decision-making to be implemented at this time. The children, at the beginning of the investigation, were in favor of spending more time with their father and going to their mother's house when they wanted. Their position changed over the course of the investigation, with both children stating they wanted the week about schedule to remain in place that had started in the summer. Mother has described Lewis Jr. as becoming more respectful to her and listening better at home and at school. She believes he is maturing, but she remains concerned about Lucas. Father firmly believes that the mother's not strict enough with the children and that they get into more trouble at school during her parenting time. I do question the father's position, as it seems like an easy solution to a complicated issue, as the children are also old enough to make their own choices about their behavior. The children are approaching adolescence and will need to be slowly given more independence and choices in their decision making for themselves in order to grow up to be self-reliant adults. The children do not need to be exposed to adult issues and need to be protected from the conflict between their parents. The children have observed their father getting angry at the police or their coach or people with authority. It appears that the father does feel he's protecting his children during these times. However, it does appear to indirectly give the children permission to question people in authority, which may not be in their best interest in the long run. Father has shared that he has never missed his time with the children. He sees himself as being a great father and is strict with them for what he sees as their own good. He, however, with this authoritarian parenting style, is not encouraging the children to become more independent and individuate to be separate individuals. I do not think it is in the children's best interest for the father to have the YouTube postings he has. It is not good for the children or for someone else in the future to see what is being posted, particularly around the parents' relationship. I do not think it is conducive to healing the relationship between the parents and allowing them to communicate in a child-focused manner moving forward. As I said earlier, I do believe both parents love their children and want what is best for them, but unfortunately the conflict between them and their different parenting styles is significantly interfering with their ability to co-parent and focus on the children. It is not helpful blaming the other parent for the children's behavior, but instead the parents need to be able to address the presenting issue and focus on what needs to be done for the sake of the children. So the parenting time, I think it's clear from what I was saying, is 1 week schedule with each parent. This continued from the summer and seemed to be working well. Decision making, I still think there's too much conflict between the parents as well as a lack of reasonable communication between them. So at this point, I don't think joint parental decision making is in the best interest of the children. But however, it is expected that both parents will try to work together for all decisions. Mother will notify the father in a timely manner of any major health or education decisions that need to be made for the children. It is important that the father be consulted before making major decisions via text. The parents shall consult with one another and attempt to make major health care or educational decisions together in accordance with professional opinion. Only if the parents cannot agree, mother will make the final decision. consultations between the parents are to take place in a polite and respectful manner, focused only on the children and not on each other. And then the holidays, I'm just following what was previously in the court order about Christmas being divided December 23rd to 25th, as well as March break being split equally, Easter weekend divided equally, and Mother's and Father's Day with each honored parent. Clinical interventions, I'm suggesting that the parents attend parent coaching at Catholic Family Services to help them learn new ways to communicate and change their current patterns of interactions. They need to find new and different ways to discuss issues when they disagree for the sake of their children. It is recommended that the parents separately register the Families in Transition program for a seminar called For the Children's Sake, Reducing Post-Separation Conflict. It is strongly recommended that neither parent speak to Lewis or Lucas about the other parent or their family in a negative or denigrating way, as it is important that the children's relationship with each parent be supported in a positive way by the other parent. It is important the children communicate politely in front of the parents communicate politely in front of the children. And travel neither parent to remove the children from the province of Ontario, Canada without the prior consultation and consent of the other parent, which is not to be unreasonably denied. The other parent shall provide any necessary written permission required by customs. Okay, that's the report. Any questions?
So the recommendations are mainly just that the order remain the same?
Yeah.
Right now the order includes police enforcement, do you have an opinion on whether that should remain in place permanently, or?
I don't think that's helpful at this point. I don't think it is. Because I think it.
And is there any recommendations with respect for counseling for the children, or is it mainly just for the two parents?
I don't. Yeah, I think it's more the parents.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think the children are open to that right now. But I think if the conflict is less between the parents, I think the children will benefit from that. Yeah. I think they tried at the school and I don't think they were that receptive to it.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay. No. Okay. Thank you.
And I'm sorry again for the miscommunication we had.
No, it was my fault. Anyway, okay, take care.
Well, hopefully you have a nice holiday now if you're taking a few days off.
Okay.
So.
Thanks. Okay, bye.